Welcome to Applied Technology Podcast. Talking technology, you're talking applied. We are very excited. Today is our podcast day. We have as our topic of discussion the onboarding process. My name is Sandy, and today I have as a special guest Lori Barnes.
Hello.
And we're just going to get straight to it. We're going to talk about what the onboarding process is. It's a very important topic for the company and for as well as anyone who likes to join the team. Good for them to know, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're really excited about this topic because we have come through a time period where I don't really think the staff, some of the employees knew our why.
Uh-huh.
And I really think that that is critical for each employee to understand why applied technology is here, what we're doing, why we tick, what we love,
Yeah.
and where we're going.
Yeah.
So we started looking at our onboarding process and we thought, we're just not capturing that feel or that flair. And for the new employees coming aboard, if they don't understand that, they don't see a vision, they don't see a future. So the onboarding process has been completely revised to include not only the why, but the wow. Like, what's our wow factor? I know everybody talks about, well, you have to understand the why, but what is the wow? When we're onboarding, we explore the history of the company. That's the biggest advantage is we have 38 years so far and still climbing. But,
Yeah.
that's a lot of years under your belt that we need to be proud of that, and we want them to be proud. We create that career path for them or with them. These last few hires, we've witnessed it in real time, the difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it gets super exciting is to just watch them grow. Applied technology has touched so many hearts, souls, industries. We have partnerships all up and down the state, and we're highly regarded and respected. But if they don't know that, they don't know that. We don't sit around and shout all of our glory, but we do in the onboarding now because it has made a tremendous difference for those junior staff members coming in. And because we're the active side of IT, where we are in the field and promoting into customers, but also showing up at their doorsteps, they need to know who we service and why we're doing what we're doing. So I always start with everything we do, there is a human being at the other side of it. If you don't get chills from that statement, when you start listening and hearing about EMS services and even industrial services, there's automation, but there's still a human using that.
Yeah.
And I love to use the example, if you had an employee needing an ambulance, right? And that communications was not working or not at optimum, how would that make you feel? You want to be adaptable and encouraging, and come with a good spirit to work, because you don't know what people are going through, and you don't want to be the downer, and you don't want to be the negative person. And so obviously every day is not a rose garden, but in going through the process, you can choose to be that positive person. Anyway, so the onboarding has been super fun. I mean, obviously, we try to encourage them with, we give them their PPE. We talk about safety. We go through safety training. Depending on which department they're in, they have a certain safety training process that they go through. I love to train on customer service. If we're not providing an excellent customer experience, then I feel like we've failed.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that you have to be perfect. It's how you handle something when it's not perfect. Sometimes things happen. To err is human, but it's how you handle it when it does. We want customers to feel welcome. We want them to feel like they are part of our family, and that we know that there's a human being using that equipment or service, whatever we're providing.
Yeah, and I think something that's very important to know is that it doesn't matter what background employees come from. I've myself seen younger employees, a little bit older employees, and no matter what, no matter who joins the team, it's always very welcoming. And there is no, oh, I'm older, I know more than you. And there's no like younger generation being like, oh, what do the old folks know? Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
how it's done now.
Right.
I see mutual respect, I see mutual understanding and learning from no matter what generation they're from. And that's really important, I think, in this industry because it changes all the time. And it's really awesome that we provide sort of that knowledge during the onboarding. We're adapting,
Mm-hmm.
we're applying the technology, no
Right.
matter
Daily.
how
Right.
it changes all the time
Mm-hmm.
and evolves too. So, on that note, what are you doing to sort of challenge the new employees?
I challenge them with looking at themselves as an active member here.
Mm-hmm.
So many times in the past, someone will come on board and it's always us against them. They don't put themselves in the company role. It's like, you work here. This
Yeah.
is your company.
Yeah.
We are applied technology based on who works here. I ask them to please come on this journey with us because we geek out over things that people don't even know exist that we do, right?
Yeah.
And how many times have I said that? And people,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, we do that too, and we do that. Yes,
Yeah.
because it's all part of our world. The
Mhm.
technology umbrella and the communications umbrella is huge.
Yeah.
And our goal, we've always looked at what our customers' needs are, and then we find the best product or service to meet that need. So the challenge is, are you willing to learn? The
Yeah.
other challenge is, are you someone open to change? We need people that are willing
Right.
to train, investigate, learn, be involved. And when you're involved, that's when the doors really start opening and
Yeah.
you start seeing such a bigger picture
Mhm.
than maybe what you were initially brought in to perform.
What's the craziest onboarding experience you have had, or just like a crazy story?
The worst onboarding for me is when we don't have time to mentor. Really, we haven't had anybody too crazy because we really tried to hire a good fit.
Yeah.
But I think the worst thing is when I we put in so much effort
Hmm.
and then we get ghosted. So, but that was prior to the change. So
Hmm.
this was prior to us really telling the
Hmm.
why we're doing what we're doing.
And that's very true. What you were mentioning about like sort of the why and then the wow factor that changes a lot the perspective. I remember personally that I saw pictures from where like the build, like when the building was barely like starting to, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of just it made me feel like, whoa, like so many people before me worked so hard to have what we have now. And for example, that's just a moment where like that really like put into perspective for me just how much one the company's been around, two how much it's helped the community, three how much it's really grown and adapted to all the changes in technology despite the years, and is
Right.
still thriving till today.
And you're right. People today coming into the company have no idea what it looked like back in 1986. We had this little tiny a rental type suite with a little tiny bay in the back, and we were cranking out cellular installations
Yeah.
like crazy. And
Yeah.
you would open the front door, and you'd be right at my desk.
Yeah.
So, and it was freezing in the winter and hot, boiling hot in the summer, but we did it for several
Yeah.
years there.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's a totally different business today, a
Yeah.
lot smoother than, in the beginning, there's a lot of growing pains.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like we're growing so much and we're having so many people, wanting to be a part of the company. And it's like, okay, let's just make sure we usher as best as possible their onboarding experience, which is really awesome.
It's a true journey, and we love every bit of it. And when we get people that are truly invested and interested, it's like sky's the limit. We don't
Yeah.
hold back on all of our knowledge just because we want to be the top of the top.
Yeah.
No, my philosophy, everybody else, Scott and Jeff's philosophy is, the smarter everyone is, the better we are.
Wow. And I wish more companies had sort of that vision as well. So that is our podcast episode on the onboarding process. Thank you so much for taking the time to express and sort of discuss what this topic and why this topic is important to cover.
Thank you. My pleasure.